Over 77% of Americans and people in the UK have some form of debt, and globally, household debt levels are skyrocketing. If you're trying to pay off debt but still feel stuck, there's a good chance you're making at least one of these mistakes, and the worst part, some of them are actually keeping you in debt longer without you even realizing it. I've seen these mistakes over and over again, not just with people I've helped, but in my own financial journey. But the good news, they're easy to fix once you know what to look for. I'm Rose Colburn, and I help people take control of their money with real, BS-free financial strategies that actually work in real life, because no one should feel like wealth is out of reach. Most people don't realize they're making these small debt repayment mistakes that are quietly costing them thousands. And the first one is throwing every extra dollar at debt with no emergency fund. Too many people get hyper-focused on paying off debt and go all in, throwing every spare dollar toward their balances. And on the surface, sounds like a great idea, right? After all, the faster you pay it off, the sooner that you'll be debt-free. But here's the problem. Maybe your car breaks down. Maybe an unexpected bill pops up. Maybe you lose hours at work, or your income takes a dip. And when that happens, where do you turn? If you don't have an emergency fund, the only options are pull out the credit cards that you just worked so hard to pay down, borrow money from someone if you can, scramble to come up with the cash, often at the expense of other bills, and suddenly all the progress you made vanishes. Here's what you need to do instead. Before making aggressive debt payments, build a freedom fund. This is your financial safety net so that you don't fall back into debt every time life throws you a curveball. It doesn't have to be huge. Start with just enough to cover an unexpected expense without derailing your progress. Then gradually build this up to a level that gives you peace of mind and fits your financial situation. Think of it like insurance for your debt payoff journey. It's not exciting, but you'll be grateful it's there when you need it. Skipping an emergency fund is one of the biggest mistakes. But even if you've got that covered, are you sure you're paying off debt in the right order? Let's talk about another mistake that could be slowing down your progress, and that is focusing on paying off the wrong debt first. One big mistake I see all the time, people get locked into a single debt payoff strategy, whether it's the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, or some expert's perfect method, and they refuse to adjust even when it's not working for them. The problem with this, well, your financial situation isn't static. Life changes. Things come up all the time. Maybe your income fluctuates. Maybe you have some unexpected expenses come up, or you realize that the method you started with just isn't really working for you and isn't sustainable long term. So let's say you get started with the debt avalanche because mathematically it's the fastest way to save money on interest. But after months of saving and seeing no quick wins, you start feeling discouraged and your motivation drops. Or maybe you went all in on the debt snowball, but now you realize those high interest debts are costing you way more than what you expected. Here's the fix. Be flexible with your debt payoff strategy. This is your debt payoff journey, and there's no rule saying that you can't switch horses midstream. Your feet are already wet, and it's entirely possible that the other horse will get you to where you're going better than the one you started with. Instead of forcing yourself into a single, rigid approach, ask yourself, what's actually working for me? What's keeping me motivated and making the biggest impact on my finances? That's why I created my debt payoff ladder, because it combines the best of both worlds. You get the psychological wins of knocking out small debts, like the snowball method, but you also prioritize high interest debt when it's necessary, so you don't lose money in the long run. If you've been feeling stuck in your debt payoff plan, it might be time to reassess and adjust, because the best strategy isn't just the smartest on paper. It's the one that actually suits your current financial situation. Now, this next mistake is one that keeps people in debt longer than they need to be. One of the biggest reasons people stay in debt for years, sometimes decades, is because they're only making the minimum payments on their loans and credit cards. And I get it. When money is tight, it feels like all you can do is pay the bare minimum and hope for the best. But here's the truth. Minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt for as long as possible. So let's break this down with a quick example. Say you have a $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest and you're only making the minimum payment, around $100 a month, let's say. At that rate, depending on how they calculate their interest, it could be close to 10 years to pay it off. And by the time you do, you'll have paid back more than double what you originally borrowed. That's why lenders love minimum payments, because it keeps them making money off of you for years to come. Even small extra payments make a huge difference, and that's the smarter approach. If you can put just $50 extra per month toward that same credit card balance, that cuts your payoff time in half, and you save thousands in interest. Bump that up to an extra $100 per month, now you're debt-free in less than 3 years. So the takeaway here is anything extra that you can put toward your debt, whether it's 20, 50, or more, speeds up your financial freedom. But even when you're paying extra, many people still make this next big mistake, and it's one that can completely stall your debt payoff progress. One of the biggest reasons people fall off track with debt payoff is because they set a rigid plan and expect life to cooperate. But let's be real, that never happens. Here's the truth. Adjusting your plan isn't failing. It's what keeps you moving forward. A good debt payoff plan adjusts to your financial situation instead of breaking when things don't go as expected. For example, let's say you're aggressively paying off debt and suddenly a big expense comes up, a medical bill, a car repair, or something else unavoidable. Instead of thinking, well, there goes all my progress, I might as well just give up. Shift your mindset to, how can I rework my plan to handle this while still moving forward? Maybe that means pausing extra debt payments for a couple of months to replenish your savings. Or maybe it's a shift in priorities, just temporarily, and then getting back on track once things stabilize. What's important is consistency over time, not perfection. And speaking of life changes, this final mistake is one that keeps most people in the debt cycle forever. So many people think that once they pay off their debt, they'll automatically have financial freedom. But here's the harsh truth. Debt freedom without a financial plan doesn't mean financial security. I've seen this happen time and time again. Someone works hard, cuts expenses, pays off their debt, and then ends up right back where they started because they never created a plan for what comes next. The smarter approach is to view debt payoff as just one piece of the financial puzzle. Becoming debt-free is an amazing goal, but it's not the finish line. It's just one step toward building real financial security. If you only focus on paying off debt and ignore saving, investing, and financial growth, you could find yourself in a dangerous cycle where you're debt-free but have no emergency savings. So the next unexpected expense pulls you right back into debt. Or you never start investing, so your money isn't working for you and you're left playing financial catch-up later. Or maybe you don't build a strong financial foundation, so even though you're out of debt, you're still struggling. The goal isn't just to get out of debt. The goal is to create financial stability, growth, and freedom. So how do you balance debt payoff while creating future wealth? The best approach? Create a financial plan that includes debt payoff, saving, and investing together. Keep your freedom fund strong so you never rely on debt again. Start investing even while paying off debt because time in the market is key to long-term wealth. Set milestones to help you reach your goals beyond debt payoff, like home ownership, or early retirement, or passive income goals. Your debt-free journey isn't just about paying off what you owe. It's about setting yourself up for a future where money is no longer a source of stress. Avoiding these 5 mistakes is just the beginning. But if you really want to take your finances to the next level, you can't afford to miss this next video. Because once you're on the right debt payoff path, the real question becomes, should you save or invest your money? And the truth is, most people get this part completely wrong. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.